Some leaders enter a room and are trusted before they finish their first sentence. Others speak longer, perform better, even impress intellectually, and still leave uncertainty behind. The difference is rarely charisma. It is coherence. Welcome to episode 3 of the Authority Assessment Framework Masterclass series on the Authority Advantage podcast. I'm Modesta Mahiga, your host and CEO of Authority Global LLC, where we transform industry leaders into global authorities. In episode 1, we established that authority is not claimed, it is assessed. In episode 2, we examined why visibility backfires when authority has not cleared structural gates. Today, we go deeper into one of these gates, coherence. Because while charisma attracts attention, coherence produces trust. And institutions do not elevate attention. They elevate trust. Let's examine how coherence actually works. The misunderstood power of charisma. Charisma is often mistaken for authority. It is visible. It is energetic. It's emotionally compelling. Charisma can command a room. It can inspire teams. It can mobilize short-term momentum. But charisma is volatile. It depends on mood, context, audience chemistry, narrative intensity. Charisma is episodic. Authority is structural. Institutions do not make advancement decisions based on who feels compelling in a single moment. They make decisions based on pattern stability. Charisma may accelerate visibility, but only coherence sustains authority. And this distinction is decisive at senior levels. What coherence actually means? Coherence is not sameness. It is alignment. It is the consistency between your mandate and your messaging, your reputation and your record, your public voice and your private decisions, your stated values and your operational priorities. Coherence reduces cognitive load. When leaders are coherent, observers do not have to reconcile contradictions. There is no translation gap between who you say you are and how you operate. The brain relaxes around coherence, and relaxed perception is interpreted as trust. This is why some leaders are trusted instinctively. Not because they're louder, not because they're warmer, not because they're more dynamic, but because they make sense quickly and consistently. Coherence is interpretive efficiency. How institutions detect coherence. Institutions assess coherence subconsciously, but systematically. They look for alignment across 4 domains. Number 1, narrative coherence. Does this leader's story hold together? Is there a logical progression between roles? Is their expertise consistent with their positioning? Do their ambitions align with their history? When narrative leaps feel disconnected, authority weakens, even if capability is strong. Number 2, behavioral coherence. Does this leader behave consistently across environments? Are they measured in crisis, measured in calm? Are they principled when stakes are high and when stakes are low? Inconsistency creates interpretive friction. Friction creates hesitation. Hesitation slows endorsement. Number 3, relational coherence. Do stakeholders describe this leader in similar language? If peers, subordinates, and partners tell radically different stories, institutions interpret instability. Authority requires pattern convergence. Number 4, strategic coherence. Do decisions reflect declared priorities? If a leader claims long-term orientation, but repeatedly optimizes short-term optics, coherence fractures. Institutions do not elevate contradiction. They elevate predictability. Coherence signals predictability. Predictability signals safety. And safety precedes trust transfer. Why coherence outperforms charisma under scrutiny. Charisma thrives in first impressions. Coherence survives extended observation. Under scrutiny, charisma fades quickly because it relies on performance. Coherence strengthens because it relies on alignment. When visibility increases, as we discussed in episode 2, scrutiny intensifies. Charisma under scrutiny often produces overcompensation, speaking more, amplifying emotion, leaning into presence. Coherence under scrutiny produces steadiness. Because the leader does not need to manage perception. Their alignment is already stable. This is why boards and institutions often advance leaders who are not the most charismatic in the room. They're the most coherent, and coherence is less exhausting to evaluate. Institutions prefer leaders who require minimal interpretive effort. The cost of incoherence. Incoherence does not produce dramatic rejection. It produces quiet exclusion. You may still be invited. You may still be visible. You may still be respected. But you will not be endorsed at altitude, because endorsement requires trust transfer, and trust transfer requires alignment. Incoherence typically appears in subtle ways. Expanding rhetoric without expanding mandate, stating values not reflected in trade-offs, communicating strategy that differs from execution, adopting persona depending on audience. None of these are catastrophic individually, but collectively, they create instability in perception, and instability delays advancement. Most leaders interpret this delay as politics. It is often pattern misalignment. Coherence as an authority multiplier. When coherence is strong, 3 things happen automatically. Number 1, language spreads. Others begin describing you using your own terms. Number 2, trust accelerates. Stakeholders defend you in rooms you're not present in. Number 3, scrutiny strengthens perception. The more examined you are, the more alignment is confirmed. While charisma peaks, coherence compounds, and compounded coherence becomes authority. This is why some leaders feel inevitable, not because they're dominant, because they are aligned. When observers cannot find contradiction, endorsement becomes low risk. Low risk invites advancement. Strategic implication. Authority design requires coherence before amplification. Before visibility scales, alignment must stabilize. The question is not, are you compelling? The question is, are you consistent across scrutiny layers? If your CV, biography, stakeholder perception, and decision-making patterns were examined simultaneously, will they tell the same story? If the answer is unclear, authority remains fragile. Coherence is not aesthetic, it is structural. And structural authority is what institutions elevate. In the next episode, we'll examine what happens when authority is placed under direct scrutiny, how it holds or collapses. For now, consider this. If someone observed your narrative, behavior, and decision-making for 12 months, will they describe you using the same language you use about yourself? That question reveals the strength of your coherence. This is the Authority Advantage Podcast, a public classroom on how authority actually works. If the authority assessment framework is helping you name what others sense but cannot articulate, you may want to explore the authority diagnostic in the episode notes. Until next time.